All right, pull up a chair. Let's talk about the great castration. Not the physical one, though the metaphor is bleeding enough. I'm talking about the quiet, systematic hijacking of masculinity. The turning of a primal force into a neutered, housebroken pet that fetches the slippers of the powers that be. Once upon a time, a man's spine was his own. The core of masculinity, the real stuff, not the chest-thumping nonsense, was about sovereignty. A capacity for violence, tempered by a code. A skepticism of easy answers, a willingness to stand alone, to question, to build, and yes, to break if necessary. It was the engine of dissent. And that was the problem. So, the architects of control got to work. They couldn't just outlaw it. That would only make it stronger. They had to pervert it, redirect it. They had to turn the warrior into a consumer, the philosopher into a fanboy, and the rebel into a compliant drone shouting pre-approved slogans. Observe, if you will, the gallery of rogues. First, the classic totalitarians, a masterclass in efficiency. They didn't destroy masculinity, they weaponized it. They took that innate tribal loyalty, that need for brotherhood and purpose, and funneled it directly into the state. The brown shirts, the party faithful, all that testosterone, that willingness to fight, was neatly pointed at the designated enemy. Question authority? The highest authority was the authority. Your masculinity was proven by your obedience. A beautiful, terrifying paradox. Now, look at the modern iteration, the so-called woke landscape. Don't get squeamish, we're not being polite here. This is perhaps the most insidious hijacking yet. It pathologizes traditional masculine virtues. Skepticism? That's fragility. A desire for competition? Toxic. The urge to stand as an individual, apart from the collective? That's privilege. They have created a linguistic labyrinth where any question of the orthodoxy is proof of your own moral disease. They haven't taken your spine. They've convinced you it was a birth defect. So you sit in the circle, apologizing for your existence, trying to deconstruct your own psyche until you're as harmless and pliable as wet clay. A man who believes he is inherently problematic is a man who will never stand up. He's too busy self-flagellating. And while your mind is being rewired, they're pumping your body full of chemical pacifiers. Look at the food. Soy-loaded, hormone-injected, estrogen-mimicking slop passed off as sustenance. Is it a conspiracy to literally feminize men? Maybe, maybe not. But the effect is the same. Lower sperm counts, decreased vitality, a general softening. You're being medicated into docility from the inside out, one hormone-disrupted meal at a time. But a pacified man still has energy. He needs an outlet. Enter the circus. The entertainment industry, a non-stop dopamine drip of superhero movies where the strength is CGI, and video games where you conquer digital worlds from your mother's basement. It's all the catharsis of action with none of the consequences. All the feeling of power with zero actual agency. And then there's sports. The new opiate of the masses, far more effective than religion. Men who once might have challenged kings or built empires now paint their faces in tribal colors and scream at millionaires running with a ball. The passion, the loyalty, the tribal warfare, it's all there, but it's utterly, completely safe. For the system. Your team wins, you feel victorious. Your team loses, you're enraged. And on Monday, you go back to your cubicle. All that ferocity, spent. All that need for a tribe, satisfied by a logo. It's a pressure valve, and they know exactly when to turn it. So, here we are. The modern man, intellectually lobotomized by dualistic ideologies that forbid nuance, physically compromised by a chemical cocktail, and emotionally neutered by a culture that offers him spectacle instead of meaning and consumption instead of creation. His fire hasn't been extinguished. Oh no, that would be a waste of good fuel. It's been carefully contained, channeled into approved furnaces that heat the very house he's locked inside. He's encouraged to be aggressive in the gym, furious on Twitter, and passionate in the stadium. Everywhere except the one place that truly matters. The voting booth, the town hall, the quiet, solitary space of his own mind where the first dangerous thought of no begins to form. They've made a weapon of masculinity, all right, but the barrel is pointed squarely at the man's own head. And the bitterest joke of all, they've convinced him he's the one holding the gun. A damn shame.
So here is the only question that remains, the one they've spent billions to make you forget. What is the real role of masculinity now? Is it to be a good little soldier in these pointless stage-managed gender wars, desperately trying to prove you're not toxic? To endlessly apologize for the crime of existing? That's the trap. That's the pasture they've fenced for you. The true, divine duty of a masculine spirit, the one that built civilizations and toppled tyrants, was never to be nice. It was to be necessary. It is the unyielding counterweight to corruption, the immune system of the body politic. Its purpose is to balance the scales, to question the powers, the authorities, the corporations, and the slick, smiling ideologues. Its job is to be the grit in the machine of control, to challenge every narrative, not to destroy, but to test, to keep the debate alive, raw, and honest. Because a healthy society argues with itself. A totalitarian one silences dissent. Stop fighting their phantoms. Your real battle isn't against pronouns or progress. It's against the silent, comfortable slide into the herd. The real act of rebellion is to reclaim your own mind, to sharpen your own will, and to stand as a man who cannot be bought, shamed, or distracted. The only way to stop a new regime from forming is to be the ungovernable man who remembers his first and final duty, to be a nuisance to oppression in all its forms. Now, what are you going to do about it? The circus is on. The slop is being served. Will you take your seat, or will you finally walk out of the tent?